Adam Montgomery's estranged wife Kayla took the stand in this explosive trial going on, and we're going to talk about her absolutely monstrous testimony in today's video. Y'all, Roscoe said that there is only one thing worthy enough to sit next to his silver plaque. Well, two things, actually. A portrait of himself and his box of sundaes. Y'all, the Sofa Squad, particularly Roscoe, is still going strong with sundaes over here, and I'm going to tell you all about it. If you've been part of the Sofa Squad or watched my videos for a little while, then you'll know that we've been working with and eating with sundaes for quite some time at this point. One thing that I absolutely love about sundaes is how much it has made feeding time here for an elder dog. Good Lord, I'm sorry. But it's made feeding time here so much easier. So first of all, it's 100% human grade. Now, I'm not trying to sound gross or anything like that, but y'all, legit, when you open the bag, it's the only dog food that I'm like this. I'm like, it kind of smells good. No, I have not tried it myself, I swear to God, but I've been tempted. There's also no prep, no mess to it at all. Literally the way it looks like a box of cereal, which I absolutely love, but it's what's inside that's important. But good Lord, we do love good design here at the Sofa. But this also, this right here, y'all. The little Velcro, I mean, come on. So cute. It helps keep it fresh. You open it up, you pour it in, and you're good to go. So sundaes air dries the food to preserve and lock in that nutrition and flavor, which is one thing that I absolutely love about sundaes. The ingredients on the box are literally ingredients that we all eat and hope to see in the food on the shelves at the grocery store that we buy for ourselves. It's also vet founded and vet run, which makes me feel good because you know it's like a dog person who came up with it and is running the show. It just makes you feel like you get them, they're on your level, your page, and your baby's level and page. Sundaes has become like the staple. It's what I leave in a bowl for him when I leave to go out to work so that I know that there is always food accessible to him. And also the texture of the food itself. It's very gentle. It comes apart easy because Roscoe doesn't have any teeth. So it has worked wonders for him. That's another thing I absolutely love about this is knowing that he is getting top quality, human grade food with the nutrients and all of that in it, and it's not a struggle. So it's been a lifesaver there. Now, another thing that I have found to be so interesting working with sundaes is the fact of how many of y'all, the Sofa Squad, I have talked to, and we all have the same experience. Y'all, I don't know what is up with this food, but dogs go crazy over it, okay? Literally, so many of you that I talked to in the comment section are like, no, my dogs go ballistic over this food. Which, again, for someone like Roscoe, who is so picky about food, I cannot tell you the stress relief that it has given me. One thing that absolutely concerns me, especially at this stage in the elder years where they're super sensitive, is seeing all of these food recalls going on in the paper and stuff like that. And I'm just like, oh my God, thank God I did not give him that food. And so that's one thing I love about sundaes. I literally feel like it is being curated and made in somebody's kitchen, okay? But not in a bad way, right? It's sundaes. It's operated by people who have pets, who have dogs, that consider them family just like we do. And I feel like that's not a worry with this. Now, look, I get if you're switching to a new food or trying something out, it could be nerve-wracking, but sundaes covers you there. They do free samples. I mean, you're gonna have to pay like shipping, handling, that type thing. But just to try it out, I mean, y'all, I swear your dog is going to love it. Now, in addition to that benefit right there, they are hooking the Sofa Squad up. You can use the link in the description, or you can go there, type in SOFA. That's our code here at the Sofa is SOFA. And they're gonna give you 50% off your first order, okay? Now, also, if you got a small dog like Roscoe, y'all, it's gonna last, okay? Even though he does go through it. Now, when his friends come to visit, I had to get one of those little stirry bowls that you put the food in to slow them down from eating because they will eat me out of house and home with sundaes, okay? I've become like that cool gunkle that has all the good treats and the food over here. So my friends' dogs know when they come up over here, if they don't have sundaes at their house, they're getting hooked up over here. So go ahead, give it a shot. Use my code SOFA. You can do it to the link in the description below, or it's on the screen right here. Try it out. You don't have anything to lose. Roscoe likes it. I think you will too. Or your pet at least.
Say, put me up next to my plaque and my Sundays, thank you. You cannot speak to me. I am a superstar dog.
What is it? Is that your food?
Yeah, that's mine. Open it up.
Hello, Sofa Squad, and welcome back to the sofa. Sofa's back there. Roscoe's on it. He's just hanging out. My name's Paul. I'm sitting in front of the sofa, and I guess I'm just hanging out too. Now, today we're going to be talking about a trial that's been going on like last week. I'm recording this on Friday, the 16th, and so I've been watching parts of it and whatnot, been pulling clips I want to talk about, and so now we're going to start really getting into it, and that is the trial against Adam Montgomery. Now, I've done the opening statements video, and so this is going to be probably a series of his estranged wife, Kayla Montgomery, talking or, testifying on the stand against him. Trigger warning, y'all, this is next level, the stuff that has come out on the stand in all parts of the trial, right? And at the center of this is the victim, and her name is Harmony Montgomery. She was only 5 years old when Adam took her life. Well, at this point it's allegedly, but I mean, do the math on it, right? Most likely by the time you see this, he would have been convicted. I don't see any other way around it. But regardless, Harmony was his daughter. This is a daughter that he had with somebody else, and we'll hear from her, not in this video, but Kayla's not the mother, so that was like the stepmother, whatever. So just for context. And now usually if you're familiar with my stuff, I'll do like a 60-second overview, and that's kind of the 60-second overview because we're going to learn about the story as we go through these clips. So just know Harmony is the victim in this. She was very young. He had somewhat recently just gotten custody back of her. They were living, they were living in the car. They had gotten evicted, living in the car at the time of when he did this to her. And so that's that. So who we're going to be watching specifically, like I said, is Kayla. She's going to take the stand, and again, the estranged wife, they're both incarcerated, and we'll find out about that more when we watch it. So again, the format of this video is going to be video clips, and I'll be talking and reacting to them, and that's it. Now, if you want to follow Roscoe and I outside of here, you can look us up on the Instagram. It's on the TV screen or the phone screen, and in the description. Go on, give it a follow. Go on, check it out. Good Lord. And that's it. Roscoe, are you ready to get into this? Buckle your seatbelt. This is a rough one.
Okay, thanks.
Buckle your seatbelts up too, y'all. Let's go ahead and talk about a couple of little things and then look at that first clip. So at the time of her testimony, Kayla's 33 years old. She's in the correction facility for women in Concord, New Hampshire. She's been there for over a year at the time of her testimony and was in there for perjury for lying to the jury in regard to her whereabouts as well as Harmony's whereabouts. Now, when asked why she did that, this was her lengthy response. And let's go ahead and look at that first clip.
Because I was scared, and I was told by Adam to stick with that story, that I got dropped off at work at Dunkin' Donuts, where I no longer worked at that time, and to say that he was bringing Harmony to meet her mother, Crystal, and that he dropped her off with her. And then when he came and picked me up from work, which I was not working there at the time, he didn't have her in the car, which that was a lie.
So there's that, okay? Just know on this, there's going to be a couple of things going on, okay, just so that we can go through this. Listening to her testify, you're going to want to come through the screen at times, okay? You're going to be like, what? It's heartbreaking to hear. Now, on the same note, she's going to be talking about she was scared of Adam. I would have been too. I get that. However, hearing the things that went on, I would say I beg to differ about how much she's saying she was not involved in harming Harmony. I was not there. I don't know. I don't have any more information on this than you watching. So just know that these are just a sofa YouTuber's opinions, right? And they're just that. They're not coming from like secret evidence or something. But I'm just letting you know the lens that I was watching this through is that where I was just like, I'm not buying that she was this, complacent in things, meaning that she might have had a helping hand and stuff, but again, we'll never know. So know that. Now, the state will confirm that the story just told was the one that she told the grand jury and police, but that indeed is not what happened. The state will get ahead of her plea deal, and they're going to make it known that, yes, she reached a plea deal to plea out to perjury charges, and these other charges were dropped. And he's then going to ask her who made the story up, to which she's going to say Adam, and then he'll ask her why. Why lie?
Because I was scared for myself and my children that are also Adam's, and for him because I didn't want anybody to get in trouble and I was scared.
Okay, so before I go into my next little spiel for the next clip, this is what I'm talking about right here, where you're listening to her, and she's being, I mean, to me, this is like, speaking honestly, why did you like, well, I was scared of Adam, I was scared for my kids, myself, I didn't want Adam to get in trouble. There's this connection there that you hear that slips through the cracks like that. And again, even if she's looking backward and talking like, I don't want to get him in trouble, you just see what the level of importance was, right? Seeing this type of stuff happening to Harmony, her connection and thing with Adam outweighed Harmony's safety and well-being. You see what I'm saying? And that's the part that makes you want to come to the screen, right? Because every time they show a picture of Harmony, I mean, it literally makes you want to bawl, right? This is this tiny little defenseless girl, and you just think of her sitting in the back seat, enduring the actions of the both of them, really. I mean, that's just what infuriates me. So hearing Kayla up there talking and she has this sweet deal, I'm just like, seriously? However, she is going to have to live with these images and what went down for the rest of her life every time she puts her head down at nighttime. Now, the state's going to also ask who Harmony was. And she'll say, look, Harmony was Adam's daughter. And then after they got together, he worked on getting custody of her. And that he had to work really hard to get it. It wasn't like just given to him. And it took years to get it.
And during those 4 years, we both visited her each week for a couple hours.
Was she your stepdaughter?
Yes.
This is the thing, too, that you think about where it's like, so he put all this work in to get her, and then to take for granted that life. It's, I mean, to me, I'm almost like, why? Why? She had these foster parents at one point. It blows my mind why. And I understand that a parent wants to reunite, but you see the hot mess expressed that Kayla and Adam were. Why would you want to bring another child into that? You know what I'm saying? Like, why do that to her? And especially the way it ended. I also can't help but think that there was probably this level going on because Harmony wasn't between them and they were obviously, this is a new relationship, that kind of thing. So Harmony being a connection to the past for each of them was probably this triggering thing. You know what I'm saying? Of like, this is not, like, especially Kayla, like, this is my stepdaughter. For Adam, this is my baby mama's daughter. It's his name and Kayla's. You know what I mean? So I think that was probably playing out some here, but again, I don't know, okay? Now, they would get the custody in February of 2019, and they're living on Guilford Street in Manchester, New Hampshire. The state would establish that she was potty trained when she came into the scenario and not having accidents. We'll talk about that in a minute. He will review not just what was going on with Harmony, but also Kayla's life as well. She was working at Dunkin' Donuts, but that didn't last long.
You mentioned this earlier, but where were you working at that point in your life?
I was working at Dunkin' Donuts.
Were you eventually terminated from your work at Dunkin' Donuts?
Yes.
Why?
Because I was stealing money from the register.
Now, she will say that she did take responsibility to this by writing a letter about what she had done and owning up to it, being accountable. But then the conversation moves to the time period that Kevin, the uncle, who was living at that same place that I just mentioned on Guilford Street, followed the grandmother, whose house it was, to Florida when she had a procedure. So all these people are living in this house at this time. Grandmother goes down to Florida, uncle follows her down there. So Kayla would work, and the 3 children would be home with Adam while she was at work. She said she liked this schedule. She left like early morning until 2 or whatever. Now, eventually the uncle shows back up, and Kayla will recount a conversation between Adam and Kevin, that's his name, about a situation that happened with Harmony. Now, again, trigger warning for this because we're starting to get into some upsetting stuff here.
Where were you during this conversation?
In the living room of the house in Guilford Street.
And where were the children?
Playing.
Did you understand what they were talking about?
Yes. I know that they were arguing about a black eye that Harmony had.
Now, she would say that she had seen the bruise when it was in its first stages after she came home from work. She saw Harmony's red face, the whole 9 yards. And she was told that Harmony and one of the other kids were playing. So, like, one of their kids, her and Adam's kids, were playing. And the other kid accidentally hit Harmony in the face with a lightsaber. Adam would eventually say that he had actually hit her in the face because she had covered their son's mouth because he was crying. Now, here's the thing. And he was basically saying, like, oh, you know, he was turning blue and all this stuff, and I came out, so I, you know, smacked her or whatever. I couldn't help but think when they told this, and the first thing that came to my mind and my gut is I was like, she was trying to save that poor little baby. She knew what would happen if he was crying. She knew what her dad was going to do. It gives me goosebumps. So she was probably trying to help that little baby and be like, you don't want dad's wrath. You know what I'm saying? So she just was covering his mouth up. I mean, my God. And again, I don't know. I was not there, right? But it's just the first impression that I got when Kayla said it. I was like, she was trying to help. But she knew enough about Adam at this point to know, don't do that. You're going to get hit. And, you know, and she ends up getting a black eye over it. Now, this conversation on the stand with Kayla with the state, it's going to move to the day before Thanksgiving. This is 2019. And this is when they're evicted from this house because the mortgage wasn't being paid. They're living in their Chrysler Sebring.
Or who were you with?
It was myself and Adam, Harmony, and the 2 boys.
Where were you sleeping during that period?
In the car.
Now, take all the drama surrounding them, the Hot Mess Express, out. Times are tough. People run into situations, things happen, right? So what I'm trying to picture is this. Imagine you're in this scenario where you are forced to live in your car with your spouse and 3 small children, okay? Then layer on top of it what they have going on here. Serious drug abuse. I'm talking hard drugs that have you just spun out of control on it. When you sit here and listen to their timeline of the drama that happens from here to here to here to here, that's all their day is. And then Adam, who is a maniac, okay? Then they're stuffed in this car with these 3 children and this and all that going on. You already know it's a recipe for disaster. Now, they would stay behind Colonial Village where this friend of theirs, Anthony, lived. She said that he asked them not to stay there, but they did anyways. And Kayla would describe how Harmony began having bathroom issues. This is where this started. She wouldn't let them know that she had to go, and she's like peeing and pooping in the car and like where she was sitting at. And this happened at least every day, Kayla said.
And did those accidents, did they increase in frequency the longer you were in that car?
Yes.
How was the defendant responding when she had these accidents?
Getting angry.
Again, I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm not a doctor or anything like that. But as soon as I heard this, my first that feeling is I was like, this poor little girl, I call her a baby, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? She was having this like subconscious reaction to the stress. Children are very perceptive, right? Now, she already had these health issues when she was a kid and whatnot, or as a kid, you know what I'm saying? Like when she was first born, she was still a kid. But to hear that she came potty trained and wasn't having this, and then they move into the car and the stress starts happening, it was like her soul, her being, her body was reacting to the level of stress and trauma that her caretakers were putting her through. Now, Kayla would say, you heard her, he was getting angrier and angrier and angrier. He would start smacking her in the face, the hands, the legs, all that type of stuff. And she said that they were painful smacks.
By him. And I could hear it, and it sounds like it hurt.
Just absolutely breaks your heart. Now, the more accidents that Harmony would have, the angrier Adam would get, and the more he would hit, and the injuries became worse and worse and more visible. Now, she'd get black eyes, bruises on her face, on her legs, and she said that he would cover her with a comforter all the time so that nobody could see her. Now, the state will then move the questioning, the conversation with Kayla to December 7th. This is when Harmony's life was taken by Adam. She had an accident first thing in the morning. Kayla said that Adam would repetitively kept punching her in the head over this. Now, this is like a series of events that happen. We start off at point A, she has an accident, we get over to here, that type thing. So just know that this was like not a one isolated incident, but we're going to the methadone clinic, she has an accident. We come out of the methadone clinic, she has an accident, this type thing, right? Basically, it just set him over the edge. And the final blow, if you will, was when they're headed from that methadone clinic, they're going to Burger King to get the kids and themselves something to eat. And he realized when he comes out, she'll say, you know, he could smell the urine or whatever. He knew she had gone to the bathroom again, and this is where it just went off. And she was like, he just was wailing on her basically. And on the way, when they get to a stoplight, he reach over, like come over the back seat kind of a thing. Because if I'm Adam, she's sitting right here behind Kayla's right here. Harmony's right here. So he's able to just reach over and just wail on her like that. And she was doing this over and over. But something was different this time. Something happened. He went too far, and he knew this.
What was Harmony doing at that point when he started driving the vehicle?
She was crying a lot.
She was crying a lot?
Yeah. And she was making a weird noise.
This is the part where you hear this, and you just, you think about her sitting in that seat, and you just, want to hug her because you know what's happening now at least. And this is, her final moments. And her final moments are spent with him coming over the seat and doing this to her. And probably that fear that she felt and all the things going through her mind, as her parents are driving to Burger King, and as if nothing happened.
It was like, I can't even describe it. It was like a moaning kind of noise, but crying.
Now, she would say that she did try and help at this point by putting her arm up and being like, stop, or whatever. But he being Adam, gave her this super evil look, this crazy look that scared her to death. And she was like, I couldn't stop him. I was scared for my own life, and things just kept getting worse.
Shortly after that, did he say anything to you when he stopped?
He said he thinks that he really hurt her. But he felt something.
So this took place while at the Burger King, and Kayla said that he did nothing but went ahead and ordered their food. And she said that he would eat, and they would eat and give the kids the food. Adam had put Harmony under the blanket, under the comforter, so that she wasn't seen while feeding the other kids. Now after this, they go back to the parking lot at Colonial Village, and Harmony is still under the blanket at this time. She had stopped making the weird noise though, so let this sink in. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to make it through this. This whole thing has happened. He's wailed on her. She's making this weird noise. He felt something. He knew he went too far. They put the comforter over her. They eat. They feed the kids. They drive back to Colonial. Just almost like out of sight, out of mind. She's under the comforter. She got quiet. We're not going to do anything. And that's the part where I'm like, oh my God. Nobody was there for this poor little girl in this moment. It's so heartbreaking. So let's continue.
That moaning, did it eventually stop?
Yes.
Did you check on Harmony at any point after the moaning stopped?
No.
Did Adam?
No.
Why didn't you check on her?
Because I was scared.
Now, when they get back to Colonial, they get heroin, they get crack, and they get high in the parking lot for the next 10 minutes or so. After that, they left. They drive away somewhere, but the car dies. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier when I was saying the drama that follows them around and stuff. This is what I'm talking about, okay? This is what their day is spent doing. So the car dies and they are stuck and they have to leave the car. So obviously they're going to have to get the kids out. Only is it now that this is when they discover that Harmony had passed away.
When you say Harmony had passed away, when did you realize that Harmony had passed away?
When Adam was trying to wake her up and she didn't reply or anything.
Now, this is when she said that Adam would take a duffel bag from the trunk and put Harmony in it and she said that he would have to fold her in half to put her in it to make her fit. She said she never called 911. When asked if she tried to run when he put her in the duffel bag, she said that she had the 2 other kids and that she was scared. After that, they walk back to Colonial Village. They put the bag in the snowbank so that Anthony doesn't see it. This is the dude who lives at this place, right? So after all that, their other cars getting towed. They were able to get their stuff out of it. It gets towed. Anthony lets them sleep in his car, this Audi car or whatever, just for the weekend, he says. Now, during this weekend, they kept Harmony in the trunk of the car. There's no words for it. Now, this was just for the weekend. From there, he will drop them off. He, being their friend, whose car was, will drop them off at Kayla's aunt's house. They will basically spend this whole thing of going like from the aunt's house to her mom's house to here to there. They bounce around till they end up at this like family center, you know, kind of like a shelter type place. The whole time they are switching Harmony's body from here to a cooler to a bag to the ceiling, all this kind of stuff, right? We will hear testimony from other people getting on the stand about this, not in this video. I'm going to do it in another video. So just know that they carried her around in a cooler and bags, all this type of stuff. Then, like I said, they end up at this shelter, and Adam would put Harmony's body in the ceiling of the room that they were staying in.
You could smell a horrible smell that was coming through the vents.
Do you remember that horrible smell?
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about, where she might have gotten off easy on this. She's going to always remember that smell, always have those images, always know there was that. Now, here's the thing. So she would say that the smell, you can imagine, right? If you follow cases, you know the smell, people, it's bad. I don't know what it's like, but I'm just going based on like what, you know, we hear on the stand from various cases. So maintenance will come to check on this at one point, and Adam has to take Harmony's body down from there and put her in the bathroom. At this point, they realize like decomposition, there's fluids, there's this and that, so he's going to put her in like one of the plastic garbage bags basically at this point. Now what we are going to do, because this is very heavy, we are going to end this here, her testimony at this point here, and go on to another one, or not other one, but part 2 is coming, is what I'm getting at, because there's so much of this testimony. I'm just trying to like get through it, and to be quite honest, this testimony was so bothersome to hear. And for me, what bothered me about it, obviously the obvious, right, of what happened to Harmony, but hearing Kayla, even though Kayla is up there kind of whimpering through this and crying and whatnot, just hearing the actions that took place for 2 years, right? Now remember, she will leave him at one point, but still didn't say anything. Only Adam knows where Harmony is, okay? And probably will take that to his grave. Now keep in mind, he didn't bother even showing up for his own trial, right? He's like, yeah, I'm good. Don't really blame him. You know what I'm saying? What are you going to do at this point? You don't do stuff like this and have an easy time in prison. You know what I'm saying? Let alone jail at all. So overall, am I glad that Kayla's getting up here and speaking out now? Obviously, yes, right? If this is what it takes to get justice for Harmony. But it breaks my heart to hear what Harmony went through, how alone she was on those last, the whole time really she was with him, but especially her last day and leading up to it, because this stuff just got worse and worse and worse and worse and escalated. And then just the stress she was put under, you know, of just going at her parents' back, or, you know, her parent and Kayla's horrible decision making, you know, that just led to this chain of events that clearly her little body couldn't handle the stress of this. It's absolutely heartbreaking. So anyways, I'm curious to know, and again, we're going to do a part 2 of this or whatever, and then I'm going to cover some of the other testimony from the trial, but I'm curious to know, what are your thoughts on Kayla? Do you think she got a sweet deal? Do you think she should be life in prison? Do you believe her? Do you believe what the defense is saying, which is she made it up, she's the one who killed her basically, or she died under her care and Adam doesn't know what happened? I tend to believe, I think the truth is somewhere in the middle for myself. I think it's somewhere in the middle. I think that it went down probably very similarly, however you say that word, to what she's describing. I can only imagine that she probably had a helping hand along the way. Maybe not in the moment, but I'm sure she laid hands on Harmony at one point too, you know, because it's not her daughter, and you just hear everything going. If she was that afraid, but at the same time in love with Adam and not wanting him to get in trouble, I don't know. I don't know, it baffles me. You know, and I just think that he was probably, she had kids with him, he was getting them dope, all this stuff going on. The last thing on their mind were these kids, and the last thing, especially of the kids, on their mind was Harmony. So God rest her soul, bless her little heart. She had such a short trip here, and at least it sounded like she knew love. Maybe not from these people, but from others at some point. At least she was able to experience that. So anyways, this was a rough one. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I do appreciate if you're still watching, if you made it through. Roscoe says thank you. He finally stopped giving himself a bath. Lord mercy. We had a rough start in the beginning of this video. Every time now that we sit down to record, it's bath time for Roscoe. And so I sit here because that noise, it drives me crazy, and I don't know it comes on the camera, so I apologize. But you know, it's important. He wants to groom. You know what else he wants? He wants some blue sofas in the comment section. So go on, drop him down there, and we'll get him all bathed up, and I guess me too. And then we'll run on down there, and until we do hang out down in the comment section, we'll see y'all soon.